interview in general.
Okay.
And so what you basically need to know on that form is that there are no risks or benefits inherently in participating in this interview, and your participation is totally voluntary.
All right.
Should there be anything that you do not wish to be in the published thing, because there is no confidentiality in this.
Okay.
You can ask us to, and we can delete the part that you do not want.
Excellent. That's everything.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. And then here, if this is a brief just project description of what we're doing, and this field school that I'm participating in. So yeah, that's just for your general information.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
And then let's see. I think this is pretty good. Okay. Now, first off, I'm wondering if you would be willing to tell me a little bit about yourself, like a little self-introduction.
Jared Salisbury. I've been working for the Bartolotta's now for 3 years. I was last working at Lake Park as a server, and then working my way up, and now managing here for the summer.
Okay. So you were at the Lake Park. Is that the Lake Park Bistro?
Yes.
Okay. And then what kind of change was that from Lake Park to here?
It's a big change. Completely different food, obviously, different management styles, and just much more bare bones operation than one of the more fine dining restaurants in the company to the least fine dining restaurant in the company.
Okay. Yeah, it does seem like this is more of a casual place.
Yes.
Yeah, and then so I guess like going from that, when you got notified that you had this position, what were you expecting?
I really wasn't sure. I had been talking to several of my managers about moving into management positions, and then once the weather started warming up, I was offered this job to see if management was something that I would like to pursue afterwards. And as of right now, it still is. We'll see what happens at the end of summer, though.
Sure. So far you're enjoying this management?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then how many employees do you oversee about?
There's probably about 30 employees that I'm directly over, and then there's maybe 6 kitchen staff that are under a different manager.
Okay. Wow, that's a big responsibility.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in there.
Yeah, it seems like a fine-tuned operation though when we were in there.
Yeah, we've got a really good staff working this year.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so now I guess I'm wondering, you said you didn't know much about the history of this building per se.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know the Bartolottas have been running it through the summer now for, I believe this is the 5th year. I'm not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure this is the 5th year that the Bartolottas have. What it was, or who was running it before, I'm not very sure about.
Okay. And so if the Bartolottas actually took this over then, and they changed the name?
It's still owned by the county parks, but we're leasing it out for exclusive food rights on the beach right now.
Okay. Oh, so this is still considered by the county
Yes,
on the beach?
it is still owned by the county, and it is technically on Bradford Beach.
Okay. That's interesting, because I actually wouldn't have thought that it would be considered on the beach because there's the parking lot.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that too, but in the grand scheme of things, the parks does consider it part of the beach.
Okay. So then, for you then, you do see a division between North Point the beach as and can
Yeah, a little bit. Kind of what you were saying, just that we're more in the parking lot instead of like right on the sand. But I mean, we really are only maybe like 50 yards away from the water, so I can consider it beach.
yeah. Okay, actually, one second. I'm not quite sure this is working. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
No problem.
Now, so you were kind of talking about how you weren't as familiar about the place, but what Bartolotta's kind of took it over about 5 years ago.
Yes.
And if you like, would you think that there would have been a shift in the community there, in the sense of community on the beach then? Or?
I'm not too sure about that. I know the Bartolottas did pick it up as more of a community empowering thing. They wanted more people down to the beach. I know at that time Bradford was kind of going underutilized. Not so many people were down here, especially not as many as we've already seen this season. And it was more of just kind of a dumpy place that nobody really made it a point to go to. And then they wanted to kind of bring forth the lakefront activity, and so it wasn't all just kind of centralized more in the downtown area, but kind of empowering as much as we can. If we've got the lake, so we might as well use it.
Okay, so then you kind of see the role of this place as kind of like empowering the community, and could you tell me a little more about that?
First, a major thing is we've got now 30-some people who have worked for the summer. Most of them, this is their first job, so we're kind of teaching them how to become good workers, and it gives other people a safe place to go during the day or into the evenings to get some moderately priced food and enjoy the beautiful lakefront that we have.
Okay. So then you see the attraction of this place as being, I think you were touched on this a little bit about, you think that one reason some people come here is because of the lake?
Yes, I think that's a big thing, and that's kind of a blessing and a curse for us. The past couple weeks when we were first opening, it was rainy and cold, and nobody really cares about going to the lake when it's inclement weather. But I mean, even today it's a little chilly out, but we've got a good amount of people for 11:30 on a Wednesday afternoon. So yeah, I think, and the lake is, I think, our biggest attraction. You can get a lot of burgers in this city, but few of them have a view of the lake like that we do.
Yeah, definitely. It is a very beautiful scenery
Mhm.
out here. Now, would you say that, like, would you say that that this North Point is on the lake, or would you say it's next? Like, how would you describe the relationship between the two?
What I've been saying for most people is North Point on Bradford Beach. I think that's the easiest way for people to understand it, and that's just how I've always seen it. That, yeah, it's not on the sand like I had said earlier, it's in the parking lot, but I still consider it on Bradford.
Okay. And then I guess just a question about like logistics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
When Bartolotta's purchased this building, was the parking lot here already, or?
Yes, I believe, yeah, the parking lot has been here, I would imagine, since the building was built. I'm not sure when that was, but yeah, they didn't have to do anything with the parking lot or landscaping. That's still all through the county parks department.
Okay, but then I assume the cow theme
Mm-hmm.
you have is something that you guys.
Yes, that's through the Bartolotta company. Last year we had the pink cow spots on it because we were supporting the Susan G. Komen Foundation for breast cancer, and then this summer we painted them back to black because we're now fundraising for Pathfinders, which helps homeless adolescents and children.
Actually, yeah, I didn't realize that was the meaning behind the pink spot.
Yeah, so last year the Bartolotas as a company did a lot of stuff for Komen, and they were, I believe Joe and Jennifer were chair people for the Walk for the Cure. This year we're doing Pathfinders, and we have got a menu item, our Bedhead Lemonade, which is a pomegranate flavored lemonade that I believe 10% of all proceeds will be going to the Pathfinders Association at the end of the summer.
Wow. So you guys are really active, or at least the Bartolotta company is very conscious of its role in the community then.
Yes, that's one thing that Joe is very adamant about. We also have a kind of a subsidiary company within ours called the Carolata Association. That's what they do. It's the philanthropic arm of the Bartolotta company.
Yeah. Well, now, and are these organizations? Is Pathfinders a national organization, or is it just in Milwaukee?
I believe it is national, but that is not one thing that I can guarantee either way right now.
Okay. So then this is actually kind of giving back. When you as a customer, your idea is, or like at least the Bartolotta idea is, that when you purchase something from Bartolotta, you can feel good because you're contributing to a good cause.
Yeah. We do have the one menu item, the lemonade, and then I know last year for the Komen Association, each of the restaurants had specialty cocktails that for the month of September, portion of all, I believe for those cocktails, all profits went to the Komen people.
Wow. Well, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess so that's kind of the role of Bartolotta in like a bigger community. And you've already kind of touched on the North Point's role in this community for as kind of an attraction to bring people from downtown, you said?
Pretty much from all over. We get people that are coming from the south side, east side, River West, downtown. We actually get a decent lunch crowd from a lot of business types that are, I'm assuming, working downtown, kind of step out of the city for a little bit and grab a burger and a milkshake.
Sure. So then that's kind of like your lunch crowd audience then?
Our crowd's usually pretty diverse. Around between 11 and 1, it's either a lot of families or business people. Between maybe 2 and 3, it's a lot more younger kids who I think are just out enjoying the day. And then around the dinner hours, we kind of switch back to either business people coming on their way home from work or families just looking for I'm getting called.
All right. Thank you.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you said, so could you, like, for, is there a typical Bartolotta customer, would you say, or a typical NorthPoint?
For NorthPoint, I wouldn't say so. We get just about anyone you can imagine. I think that's kind of one of the more interesting thing about the kind of like burger stand aspect. It's got the mass appeal, it's super accessible to anyone, and eventually everyone's gonna break down and even if it's just a scoop of custard, everyone can relate to it and everyone for the most part enjoys it.
Yeah, okay. Well, everyone relates to it. Did you guys kind of, I guess if you weren't here in the design of the place, but it does, could you talk about like the layout of the space here in relation to the goal perhaps of?
That I'm not sure what the mindset was, and I know the Bartolottas, the company, had really no say in the architecture or landscaping or kind of the planning of it. It's just a rental that they're doing the best with. They really don't have much say in the impact on the environment or the outcome of the impact on the community. They're just offering a service that I think, from what I've been seeing, is being well received by the community.
Okay. Well, it does, yes. Okay. So, and I guess another thing I'm wondering about, is, you said, going back a little bit, you said that the customers come here because it's everybody can relate to a scoop of custard?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what would you say, like, so the fare here, could you describe the fare a little bit?
It's pretty standard, just your hamburgers and a couple other different sandwiches, mostly the usual suspects. We do offer vegan, gluten, vegetable burger, and we also have a grilled portobello cap for vegans and vegetarians. This is also the first year we are offering a gluten-free bun option. One of our kitchen managers is gluten intolerant, so she kind of brought a unique perspective on that. And that's another thing that we're trying to make ourselves as most accessible to anyone out there. And I know a lot of people have been coming in because they do know they can get the gluten-free bun and not have to worry about it.
Especially with it seems that's gluten-free is becoming such a useful thing to have for
Yeah, it's one thing that a lot of people, whether they are intolerant or just consciously trying to avoid gluten, is becoming much more up and coming in the past couple years.
Okay. And I've heard from people, this is what, like, in the community, that Bartolotta, these burgers are fabulous.
Yes. I think so.
And so I'm wondering if you could, tell me how they're different from other burgers?
I don't know if they're so different. We do have our, special spice blend that we put on the burgers, and we do use fresh buns. We get them bread order in every day, and we make sure that they're toasted, and just as in any other Bartolotta restaurant, we do care about quality. Just because we are the burger stand on the beach, we still want to put out the best product that we can and sell it for a decent price.
Okay. All right. Well, that just sounds like an admirable mission. And actually, I'm wondering, because in addition to measuring this building, we also measured the tiki bars on the beach. So I'm wondering, do you have have any sort of rivalry with that?
No, it hasn't. There's not been a real issue. I think we're both doing our own separate things, that there really isn't too much overlap. I do know that this is the first year that they are doing food. We haven't seen any steady decrease in our business because of it. I think they'll get their crowd and we'll get ours. So far there isn't any rivalry or bad feelings about anything that's been going on, but I suppose it is early in the summer.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that you haven't noticed any decline as right now. And you kind of mentioned that there are two different crowds who go there. If you kind of said that, you said before that you think a really diverse kind of people come here. What kind of people? How would you divide?
That I'm really not sure. I haven't made it over that far north on the beach yet. I know that's. I'm really not sure how to answer that because I haven't been over there. I'm not sure who's eating over there. I would assume it's still just as diverse, just because now after years of building up this area, we'll get just about anyone in town who's looking for something fun to do on a sunny day.
Okay, that sounds like a good way to encapsulate the kind of people who come here.
Yeah.
So you think that people are looking for an escape from their lives, or?
I think that especially in Milwaukee, after a long winter, people are looking for any excuse to get out, enjoy some warm weather, the sun, and the lake that we're so lucky to have in our city.
Okay, great. And I think this just about wraps this up. I do wonder. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you before. Would you be willing to talk a little bit about your educational background and what you hope to do in the future?
I have done 3 years of school. My first year I was going for electrical engineering at MSOE, to which I had changed my mind. I then switched and did 2 years at MATC for the culinary arts program, at which time I began working at Harbor House, decided I didn't care so much for the cooking part in the business and focused more on working my way up from food runner to server and now manager. So I left MATC and have been just working my way up the ladder now, and hopefully will be working in a restaurant managing for several more happy years.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like you've come on quite a path from electrical engineering to
Yeah.
here.
I liked electrical engineering. I thought it was all very interesting and I enjoyed my classes, just not as a career.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of hard when the thing you like to kind of if you love something but you don't want to do it all day every day.
Yeah. I found out very quickly with that I don't have the passion for it, and just working in restaurants very quickly learned that I do have a passion for the food service industry.
Okay, so and then in the food service industry, I guess I'm not really too familiar with it myself, but what would you say your mission, when you come to this restaurant every morning, what would you say your driving motivation is?
Kind of what I hit on before, the quality food for good people, working with good people, make sure that we have the best people we can get in, and just hospitality, just make sure everyone feels like this is their burger, it was made when they ordered it, it hasn't been sitting around, the custard is made to order as well, just kind of give everyone that extra special feeling, which kind of I hope would make us stand out instead of any other restaurant in the city.
Well, I think to me it sounds, from what I've heard what you've been saying. You definitely do accomplish that goal.
Excellent.
And I guess the last thing I'm wondering about is if you have any memorable story related to North Point, or a memorable customer.
Not quite as yet. Like I've said, we've been a little bit slower just because of the weather, and I don't get as much customer interaction as I used to being a server, because I'm more kind of putting out fires, stepping in where I need to be. So I do lose a little bit of that social interaction, but from what we've been hearing and from the people that I have been talking to, everyone's glad that we're open again for this season, and that, yeah, they've been waiting all winter for it, and they're glad that we're back.
Okay. Well, yes, and then, can you give me the days like that? I'm not sure from when you're open in the summer.
We're open every day of the summer, very tentative, from mid-May to mid-September, again, depending on the weather, and then open every day, weekdays, weekends, holidays, 11 till 8, and then again, according on weather, if it's too cold or if it's raining, we will close early or may open a little bit later. It's kind of the fun of having a only open air seating area, and as I said before, if people aren't coming to the beach, they necessarily aren't going to be coming and stopping for a burger.
Okay, so you kind of see the beach as a destination spot and North Point as another destination spot?
I think they are slowly becoming more intertwined, but there are people that will come here just for North Point, and it's a kind of a bonus, and then there are people that will come just for the beach and then maybe stop by afterwards if they get hungry. It's not completely one thing yet, but it is kind of bridging the gap a little bit.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, it does seem that this area is really reviving.
Yeah, because I know when I was growing up, I've lived in this city my entire life. Bradford Beach really wasn't somewhere you would go. There really weren't many beaches in the city that people wanted to go to. They weren't big destinations. But I think Bradford and several other ones are becoming places where I know some people will come here 5 days a week because they just have fun now, instead of seeing it as kind of the dumpy waste of a lakefront.
Okay, all right. Well, I think with that, I've covered all the things that I've
Excellent.
Covered. And then is there anything you think I've missed? Or
No, I think we've covered most of it, everything that I can think of at least. So, yeah.
Okay.
If that's everything.
Yes, it is.
Excellent.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
And good luck this summer.
Thanks. I hope you stop by some more.
Yes, definitely.